Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. Co-parenting with an ex can be a challenge, and when you throw in the stress of the holidays, things can really take a turn. Here with tips to help you navigate the upcoming season with grace, we welcome the author of The Collaborative Co-Parent, Gabrielle Pomare. It's so nice to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me back. It's great to have this chat.
Co-parenting is tough all seasons, right? But this time of year can really turn stressful with all the holiday merriment that's supposed to be happening.
Absolutely. And I think it's more difficult if you've separated recently because you're probably thinking back to this old life you had, this life you imagined with your family, traditions, and creating special moments for your children. So I think first and foremost, just be kind to yourself. It's a hard time and it's a new beginning for you.
Totally. Okay, you've got some great tips for us to help us navigate all of this, beginning with don't let the kids carry that conflict. We got to keep them separate from whatever disagreements that we have.
Yeah, I think a lot of couples, when they separate, they become very high conflict. They don't want to speak to each other. They use their children as messengers, and that is the biggest thing that you should avoid. Children should not be caught up in the conflict, particularly over the special occasion period. Giving Christmas, make the decisions for them and don't let them feel guilty for picking which house they're going to go to. Allow them to be happy and share with you their memories of each house, whether it's mum or dad or whichever parent it might be. Communicate as the parents. Think of it as a business-like relationship or a partnership, not as if you're arguing with your ex. And plan early so your children don't get caught up in, that crossfire of where am I going to be and when.
Yeah, so if you're kind of struggling with that adult communication, maybe just keeping things super simple, direct to the point as much as possible so you don't create more opportunities, I guess, for disagreements.
Yeah, and that's why I say plan early. So text messages, this is what time we're going to change over on Christmas Day. Try and plan months ahead. So for example, a lot of parents alternate odd years and even years. One parent might have Christmas lunch with their family, and the other parent will take Christmas Eve and do the waking up with the parents and that special moment. And every year you swap, and that way it's fair. Children know where they're going and they can plan and be comfortable with that.
And then what about kind of getting through this holiday season, and it's a new year coming very soon? Is it a good opportunity for us to take a step back and kind of analyze how it's been going so far, maybe refresh a few things?
Absolutely. I talk about a co-parenting reset. So we're entering a new year now, 2026. And if things weren't working well for you last year, or maybe you've been separated 5, 10 years, but you've fallen into a pattern of poor communication, of involving your children or befriending your children and, letting your emotions onto them, it's time to reset. So a few different things. One, install new boundaries. So it might be not texting after 8 p.m., for example, or not allowing yourself to engage in a text war with your ex or your co-parent. It might be coming up with a better plan for the year. So alternating weekends, changeovers, having that in place from the beginning of the year. So again, your children aren't caught up and working out what wasn't working for you with a way to improve it and communicating that to your co-parent. So you're steps ahead as you start the new year.
I think this phrase is so meaningful. Two families, one childhood. Can you share more about that perspective?
Absolutely. I think people tend to forget when they separate that your child is still living one life. And they're relying on you as their parents to give them that stability and that security. So it shouldn't be a tug of war between homes, and it certainly shouldn't be a competition, particularly around times such as Christmas, who gave the bigger or the better present, who took the child on the better holiday. Always think at the forefront of your mind, every decision I make, the communication that I'm having, the decisions I'm making, my child needs to be at the forefront of my mind because it's their one life and it's their future trajectory that you're shaping by the way you co-parent. So I think that is so important.
Well, and what about, you mentioned earlier, different families have different traditions and maybe expectations during the holiday season. How do you kind of peacefully figure out, you want your kid to participate in everything, but maybe it's overwhelming for them to have so much going on too?
You do, and children don't want to be, rushed back and forth between homes. So I think again, the earlier you know what's happening, the better. You may have always, shared eggnog on Christmas Eve, put on the funny pajamas, taken photos, and hung the decorations, but it's not going to be possible to rush between homes and maybe keep doing that. So try and communicate with your co-parent a plan. It might be that one of you does it this year and one does it the next year. If you come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different religions, keep that in mind too. It's so important and it's special for a child to experience both with their families and cultures. So be cognizant, be respectful of that, and be flexible. It might be, a parent might drop off an hour later because they're at a church mass or they're at a function with their family. That's okay. It's Christmas. Don't cause conflict because your child's an hour late. Imagine how terrible that's going to make your child feel, during that special time.
Well, like you said at the very beginning, it's not going to be perfect. You got to give yourself grace, right? We're going to get through this the best that we can, and the child has to be the focus of everything.
They do, and I guess so do you as a parent. So when you don't have your child, and it is Christmas or Thanksgiving or it's over that holiday period, take time to heal, to reflect, reach out to your own family and friends, and that's okay too. It's okay to want to sit back and just reflect and say, I need time for myself now, because it is a changing period, and you need to be okay with that. It's emotional.
Totally. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by. You shared some great advice today. It was great to see you again.
It was so good to see you, and thank you for having me.
Gabriella's book, again, is The Collaborative Co-Parent. We'll have more information on our website at katu.com.